What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Block Hash podcast channel. Today we're going to be talking about Stellar Lumens XLM and its potential here in early 2024 and down the line the rest of this year. We'll talk about price predictions in the short term and the long term, as well as what Soroban can mean for Stellar Lumens. Taking a look at the weekly, this is obviously a very high order to compete with here. So Stellar's done it multiple times. It's had some violent price action both up and down, and it's in one of its longest periods yet, next to the period it was in after the 2018 boom and bust there for the crypto market. Had a very identical move in 2021, and now here all indicators are saying we're about to move back into a bull cycle for Stellar, and we're just waiting. We're waiting to see how we shape out this next move to the upside. So let's take a look at the daily and zoom in on this a bit more to give some context. So XLM has been a little tied to XRP for quite a while now. You can look back to July of last year where Ripple won its case for the most part with the SEC. Very positive day for crypto, and we had a very violent price action to the upside with XRP. That was also mirrored with XLM. So you can know the two are kind of moving in tandem with each other a little bit. Same things happen on a macro scale that do affect the market, like liquidation events, FOMO, and the SEC with some regulatory enforcement actions that come in, or the Fed continuing to pause on rates or even raise rates. Like all these things have a very dramatic effect on Stellar XLM. But the great news is we now have, as of mid to late February here, Soroban on Stellar Lumens, which means that smart contracts, applications, can now create an ecosystem other than just payments on Stellar Lumens blockchain. Now that's very important. I think it's a very big differentiator now for moving it away from the likes of XRP, where it has a lot of similarities, and giving it a little bit more of an extra edge. I think that'll draw a lot of value into the ecosystem, as well as bolster the price and get it to some much more higher and exciting levels. So in the short term, I expect this to do tremendous things for XLM, which has been, annoyingly stuck underneath this resistance ceiling around 13.4. Good news is we're above all our moving averages, including the 200 and the 100, and we've just recently broken out to the upside to stay above it. So I'm very excited to see where we go as well. It's definitely starting to ride with the momentum from altcoins, I think, starting to move because of Bitcoin. And we'll do a whole video on Bitcoin as well, but I want to focus in on XLM first. So staying above the EMAs, vital, very important. We'll back out of that so I can show you the Bollinger Band. Bollinger Band, same thing. We've moved pretty concisively within the Bollinger Band pattern, breaking out again, and we'll see if we can actually hold that or if the Bollinger Band pulls us back to reality. But hopefully we can break out of that and find a new trend to the upside. Aside from that, I want to pull up the RSI and then the MACD. So on the RSI, on the daily, we're actually holding very well above the moving average. We had some periods where we were getting really sold off to start the year, but that seems to have reversed a little bit. It's actually showing that Stellar might be a little bit overbought. Or getting close to that point, which is okay, totally fine. Backing out of the RSI, taking you to the MACD for further context. Been holding very well above the moving average here, moving above the volume bars, so showing a sign that it might be moving back to the bullish side of things, where we might come back up and retest once again the 13.4 area. I don't know why this is so hard for XLM to get through, but going back all the way to July of last year, we saw it first once and then 2, 3, kind of 4, 5, 6 times falling back down from that level. You go all the way back to 2022, where the the bear market started, bull market ended for XLM and most altcoins. You saw it at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times relatively on the same line. So 13 cents to 13.4-ish, for whatever reason, has been really hard for XLM to stay above. Even when it pushed above here, you know, the momentum brought it down, and not only did it hit the line, but it came back violently through the line, just never went back since. And that was just a month after the event in July, August 15th, after the 14th or 15th of July. So very interesting that that's been the case. The good news is XLM has back tested, and it has actually, as of recently, beginning of February, formed a ascending trend line. So the lows are starting to get higher. The lows are getting higher from 2023 and from 2022 on the low end of the spectrum. Oop, I don't want to move that. Can I put it back? There. And then jumping into late 2023 and jumping into 2024, still the lows are getting higher. That's a good sign. So this ceiling is consolidating and getting tighter and tighter, which means at some point we're going to have a break either down or up. Odds are, because it's an ascending trend line holding those lows higher and higher, we're likely to break up. And giving the timing and the likelihood, because we're getting too close to the halving for Bitcoin and we're getting closer to an alt season, and we've already been in a bear market for close to 2 years, we're at the point where it's more likely than not going to break to the upside. But there's a lot of key factors there. You know, will Soroban be successful? Will we actually be able to attract the level of TVL into Stellar Lumens blockchain and ecosystem to build an ecosystem for the first time that's comparable to the ones in size to Cardano, to Solana, Ethereum, of course, Hedera Hashgraph. They all have very large ecosystems, and that bolsters their price and has actually led to early price action and stronger price action before most other altcoins. So that's something that Stellar is going to need to really get after and start developing out use cases immediately to provide more value on chain. And their partnerships from a remittance side need to actually go online and get to market. Because if they can do that, then you can outcompete XRP. You can actually separate yourself from the crowd entirely in terms of a remittance platform, but to also legitimize it and bring in TradFi and, you know, traditional money and normal everyday people. They're right there. I just don't know why things are so slow, but they're right there. Like at any point in time, XLM is just going to bust through this fucking ceiling. And once it does bust through the ceiling, it's all open air until we get to about 17 cents. All right. And then if we can fly through 17 cents, there's nothing really stopping it until you get to 24 cents. So Stellar's, you know, holding itself back more than anything. Retail is going to have to pour in at some point. It's going to have to make a decision and go one way or another. And from a development side, it's only getting better and better. It's a great chain. It's a great ecosystem. And I've interviewed them multiple times, and I think they have a bright future. I'm waiting to see the price justify all this development. It's taken longer than I thought. So how do we get there? All right. So this is the key. We're going to take a look. Obviously, we got to get through 13.4. When are we going to get through 13.4? I don't know. We've tested 12.9 and 12.8 the last 2 days, moving pretty dramatically, like almost a penny, which is really good. That's quite a bit for XLM. So I imagine we could test 13.4 at any point in time. Like we could test it tomorrow. We could test it tonight. We could test it next week. I don't know. But we need to test it, but we need to hold it. So I'm going to try and draw with my little handy brush here what I think is going to happen. At some point here, as we continue to find our way up, we're going to test it. Hopefully we break through, and best case scenario is we back test it and then move up. The importance of the back test allows us to create a new low that's really essential and to invalidate everything that has happened back here. All right, we don't want this to be a ceiling anymore. We want our ceilings to become new floors. That is a sign of a real bull market cycle. All right, and we're getting closer and closer to that actually becoming a reality. But again, to get there, we need retail to hold. For retail to hold, we need use cases. We need money. We need TVL in the ecosystem. People actually using the chain. Now, again, let's say best case scenario, we get through it. Where's Stellar likely to go? Let's see, breaks up here, comes down, comes back up. Maybe we test this, waddle below it, break through, test it again. Need to move my charts because this is getting in the way. Let's move it down over here. Say we back test this and then come up. So I don't know, by the time we get to late spring, summertime, maybe early fall is when I'd expect to see this happen if this same trend holds, because honestly, we could do something similar and we could come down and we could sit and range in here for a while. We could also just go ballistic, maybe not backwards, but ballistic to the upside. Then have a nasty pullback and then continue up. I really don't know. That's what we're going to have to keep an eye on. But excitement's there. All the right things are happening. And I don't know how to efficiently delete these. Maybe there's an eraser somewhere. I'm going to have to look for that. But I like XLM. I think a lot of good things are happening, and I think that it's worth keeping an eye on. In the long term, what do I think price action is going to look like? There's no reason to say that it can't repeat its past cycles and it can blow past 50 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents, and start heading back up close to $1. I do think it is incredibly undervalued when you look at where it's at. I think it should be a lot higher. But what its true value is something for the market really to decide. In the short term, I don't see why we can't blow through 13.4 and 17 and make our way up to the 20-cent range again. That should happen soon. I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. So that I'm waiting for sometime in the next 3 to 6 months. Now, beyond 6 months, into 12 months, 18 months, maybe the end of 2025, I don't know. I would expect XLM to finally get above these levels and have a higher high in the long-term spectrum for XLM, and beat, marks going all the way back to 2017 and actually go to $1. And if it can go to $1, it can do stuff XRP has done. It has more utility now than XRP, in my opinion. So why can't XLM be $2, $3, $4, $5? That's what we're going to find out. It's just going to take time, and patience is key as much as possible. Trust me. I say it, but it's another to practice it. But yeah, that's all I got for XLM today. It's looking solid. I don't think there's any real concern that it's going to collapse any further or fall down. Maybe it'll back test a couple more times in different areas, but I think it's forming a really solid floor around 11 cents. And now that it's done that, it has an opportunity to test the upside very strongly again, more than it did even in the late fall. So we'll keep an eye on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Tell me your thoughts, what you hear about Stellar Lumens and XLM, things you've seen in the news, things you've seen from the team and the foundation putting out on Stellar. Would love to know your guys' thoughts, and would love to chat with you guys as well. So let me know, and we'll take a look at everything. And I'll see you guys next time. We'll do another video, maybe towards the end of March, early April, when we have a little bit more of a decisive move up or down. But yeah, in the meantime, check out the rest of the videos. More podcast episodes are coming out soon, and see you soon.